All right, I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in San Diego, real brief. And so this sort of started with a pretty simple quote or a tweet from a friend, Andy White, who sort of asked, I mean, you can read it, what are you doing that's never been done before? And I started thinking about this, I'm like, we're kind of doing a lot of stuff that's never been done before. And to me, though, it has to be something that's meaningful and tangible and moves the needle at the same time, too. So real quick, sort of based on 4 pillars, right? So you've got pre-venture guys, you got post-venture CEOs, you got a need to recruit talent, and we got to find more money for San Diego, right? So starting with the post-venture backed CEO. So I started talking to folks about 18 months ago, and I found that a lot of these CEOs sort of knew of one another, but they didn't really know each other. And so I started gathering them. The criteria was sort of you had to have raised at least $2 million or have $1 million in trailing revenues and not be a jerk. And so we found 65 of those people thus far. They're all on this list. And why is it important to gather these people? I mean, I look at them and I think that they're the market leaders for San Diego. And when you talk about the innovation economy and how to move that forward, these are the folks that are leading the way, right? And it's important that we support those guys because when they have success, when they win, we all win, right? So an example of that. So Naveen Rao recently sold Nirvana Systems for $400 million. And yeah. And a cool thing happened after that. I've gotten at least 6 calls from 6 different VCs sort of asking, hey, why didn't I see Nirvana? Or who's the next Nirvana? Or can you introduce me to the next Nirvana, Mike? And it's awesome, right? I love that question because the answer is really great. It's, you got to get off your butt and come down to San Diego and start looking for stuff. And so some of these folks are finally starting to do that, right? So DFJ is one of the companies that invested in Nirvana. They've got 2 people here today. One of them's doing one of the talks. So they're down here hunting, and that is good for San Diego. Next thing, sort of early stage companies looking for money too, right? So last year we got this crazy idea of can we bring 35 VCs to San Diego to meet 30 companies? And it's kind of a crazy idea just to even try and do it. And worked real hard, busted our butts, and by hook and crook we got 35 VCs to come to San Diego. So the next year, I started talking to these folks again, do you want to come back? And it was sort of, are we just going to see the same companies again? And I said, no, there's plenty of companies here. You might see 5 of the same ones, but it's because those 5 are doing really good stuff and you should know about it, right? So 3 weeks ago, we had 40 VCs come down to meet and spend all day with 30 companies. Really cool, right? So there's something about when you get VCs to come down here and physically see and touch and talk to these companies and see the breadth and depth of all of them. It's pretty amazing. It sort of sinks in a little deeper. And I had a funny conversation we were out with some VCs and some CEOs last night, and one of the CEOs tells me, Mike, after the first year, I went to the after party and I was drinking, and I bumped into a VC and got a meeting, and down the road, he wrote us a $2 million check. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me this before? And of course he says, dude, I did tell you, right? So I'm stupid and I forgot, but nonetheless, I mean, that's cool, right? A guy wrote a $2 million check to one of those companies. I talked to another VC who wrote a $500,000 check to a healthcare company, and she's back down here again today looking for her next company again, too. So we're going to keep doing that. Life sciences. So this one is sort of very under the radar, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but I figure I probably should. So life sciences, that whole sector is doing great, right? It's rolling on its own. It's got a great ecosystem. So what can we do to help, right? And I don't think we should ever rest on our laurels, so we wanted to do something. So we thought about it. We wanted to do a private event. We invited 40 sort of been there, done that CEOs, guys that had made a bunch of money, sold their companies successfully. And then we invited 10 to 15 VCs down from out of town. And we just did dinner at a VC's house in Del Mar, put them all together, no glaring lights, no speeches. And it was awesome. So, after we were done patting ourselves on the back, we had a debrief and we thought, what can we do to make it better? And so, with the help of Krenn we matched up with Biocom, and we came up with this notion of doing this Life Sciences Catalyst Award. And that was designed to discover and uncover sort of the 10 next-gen, been there, done that people, the sort of younger folks, right? So we're doing it again. We're going to have 40 been there, done that CEOs, 20 out-of-town VCs, 10 youngsters there. And if you think about it, right, you've got the been there, done that guys. So who better to sort of source and validate early stage companies? You got the VCs that want to fund the companies. These guys got the access. Then you bring in the 10 youngsters to fill in the mix, and you sort of got the cycle of life going, and everybody wins. So we're doing that dinner in about 3 weeks' time. It's already practically oversubscribed. Next thing, so recruiting talent. So I talked to a lot of people, and we all sort of lament about how do we stop our engineers from graduating and getting on the first plane and going to the valley, right? And I'm in that camp too. I'd love it if they all stayed, but if we're really honest and we really think about it, right, these are 21-year-old graduates. There's 200 public companies in the valley. There's 1,000 venture-backed companies offering stock options. You know, are we really going to stop people from getting on that plane and going to the valley? And there's probably a small subset, yes, we can, but a lot of them are going to go, right? And so I started thinking about this and sort of thought, is it so bad if we let them go, get trained by NVIDIA, VMware, NetApp, Intel, Facebook, Google, let them get trained, and then 3 years later, let's bring them all back, right? And so there's another phenomenon going on with the Valley right now, and it's that people want to get the hell out of there. So that's good. So next step, right? So I think we got to go up there and make some noise, do something a little bit different. And I like the little penguin over there in the corner too, with his bag all packed up, ready to go. So I started sort of soft pedaling this notion to some big companies of what if we took 10 big companies, 30 venture-backed companies, a couple craft breweries, and we went up there and just did a big software pillaging job fair. And I talked to the first big company and they kind of liked it. The second one kind of liked it. Next thing you know, I talked to 6 big companies and they all kind of liked it. So I gathered all 6 of them together, all the people that lead talent acquisition at these big companies, about 2 weeks ago, and they're all in. So there's 6 of them. Yeah, it's cool. So it gets better, it gets better. So they're all in, there's 6 of them, and they all, to my surprise, committed. They said, we would like to each bring 75 targeted people to this thing. And so if you do the math, right, 10 big companies, 75 each, that's 750 engineers they're going to target, and it's the high-end people, and it's not just the wannabes. They're going targeted folks. And then you layer on top of that the conversations we've had with UCSD and USD. They're going to let us use their alumni list of everybody who graduated sort of 3 to 10 years ago, and we'll have 1,000 people there to meet all these companies in their backyard in Mountain View. So that's going on. So I know what you're thinking. Yes, there's one more. So funding, right? So we got to make it easier for the companies here to raise money, and we got to make it easier for the VCs to put money here. So I started thinking, okay, what if we knew a bunch of VCs? What if we profiled all these VCs? What if we had a neutral source who could kind of source deal flow to them? Could we actually match companies with investors? So the next logical step is what if we had a database that tracked all of these investors and all of these funds and who knows them and whatnot. And so this is actually a screenshot from an actual database that's working that we built. And you can see, we've got a list of all the investors, their VCs or angels, contact info, who knows them. And right now the who knows them piece is all me, but we can fix that. It's the notion is I don't care if it's Evo that knows them, I don't care if it's JLabs, I don't care if it's Joe CEO. If somebody knows Brett Aarons better than me and is the better guy to source a deal to him, that's awesome. I got no pride of ownership. Let's get it to the right people through the best possible channel, right? So you can dig a little deeper, and this is a profile of one of the partners at Rincon, and I like using Rincon because they got 3 deals here. And it scrolls way down. This is just a screenshot, but the key thing is it's got his bio in there. You can keyword search. So if you want to find everybody that once worked at Northrop Grumman, type in Northrop Grumman, you find all the VCs that worked at Northrop Grumman. You can go into the fund itself, and again, there's a whole bunch of tags below this, but if you go to a VC's website, they kind of do everything soup to nuts, right? So I'm actually talking to them all, and you can see, like, if you go in here, I don't know if you can see, but You know, they say they like work productivity SaaS, B2B SaaS, no fintech, they like ERP plumbing. So I'm not going to send them any fintech deals, but if I got a good work productivity SaaS deal, that's who we send it to, right? So if you go a level even deeper, you can do searches by tags. I don't know if you can see this all, but you know, you can go in there and put in a VC who will invest in San Diego, a VC who will do $1 million to $2 million bite in a cloud storage company. It's early stage, will lead the deal. In a round size of 1 to 5 million, you get this list of funds that come up. And that's just the A's right there. So that's a pretty broad category, but a lot of funds will do that kind of deal. And now we got a way to get it to them. Yeah. So that's done. So, and that's just going to keep getting better. We're feeding it all the time, and I'm having follow-up calls with all the VCs that are coming here today, and we're here last night, so we'll do that. And then there's one other thing that we're doing that I unfortunately can't mention today. There's some people here who would be mad at me if I did, but it's super cool. It's big. It ties in with the early stage, the late stage, the fund development side, and the recruiting piece. And I hope to announce that in about 30 to 60 days or so, but that's coming as well too, so stay tuned. So lastly, I just kind of like this slide because I like Charlie Brown, but I think we want to create fear of missing out in the Valley, and so that's kind of what we're working to do, to create more FOMO here. So that's what we're up to. Thanks for all the support. Spread the word and get on board, and thanks.